Good morning, class. So this is me, Ms. Ma'am Prashika, who will be doing English literature classes for the session 2021. And since this is the first class, I just wanted to tell you that we will be doing the English literature book named Roots. Alright? So I will start the new chapter today, and the name of the chapter is all about a dog. So this is an essay actually written by Alfred George Gardiner. So he is an essayist, right? And he is a very famous journalist, and he also writes books. So in this chapter, it is about a dog which a lady is carrying along with her in a bus. And the bus conductor, he does not allow the lady to carry the dog with her. Right? So because of that, there's big chaos inside the bus. So I will just read. So since many of you don't have the textbooks, I will be sending the photocopy of the chapter in the class group. So please follow it when you see the class group. Alright, so let us read about a bus conductor who creates a great deal of confusion trying to implement a rule. It was a bitterly cold night, and even at the far end of the bus, the east wind that raved along the street cut like a knife. So it was during the winter time, right? And there were many passengers inside the bus. The bus stopped, and the two women and a man got in together and filled the vacant places. So the bus stopped in a place, and there were two women and a man got inside the bus and they filled in the vacant places. One young woman was dressed in sealskin. Sealskin is the skin and fur of seals used by people to make waterproof jackets and boots. So it was during the winters, and she was wearing boots and jacket, and carried one of those little Pekingese dogs. Pekingese is a breed of dogs, right? And it's a small breed of dog with a pug nose, short legs, and long hair. So she was carrying that, right, in sealskin, like to carry in the lap. So this woman, she was flaunting along with a dog inside the bus. The conductor came in and took the fares. So the conductor, he came inside the bus and started collecting the fares. Then his eyes rested with cold malice on so when he entered the bus, he was quite angry because he saw a woman carrying a dog. So he was very, very annoyed. So he had a rule, right, for everyone that nobody should be carrying an animal with them. I saw trouble brewing. So the narrator himself was there inside the bus. So he felt that something was going to happen between the women and the conductor. This was the opportunity for which he had been waiting, and he intended to make the most of it. So he was waiting for something. Alright, so he felt that there's going to be some problem inside the bus. I marked him as a type of what Mr. Wells has called the resentful employee. So the narrator was just observing this scenario between the women and the conductor. The man with a general vague grievance against everything, and a particular grievance against passengers who came and sat in his bus while he shivered at the door. So he did not like the idea, right, that a passenger would come along with an animal. So he was angry because he had to stand near the door. Isn't it? We've seen the conductor usually stands near the door. So even he was angry because he had to stand near the door, and this lady, she nicely came along with the dog and she sat. You must take the dog out, he said with sour venom. So venom means poison. Alright, so he was very, very angry and he spoke very rudely. I shall certainly do nothing of the kind. So the lady, she said that she would not go outside the bus, right, and she would neither send the dog outside. You can take my name and address, said the woman, who had evidently expected the challenge and knew the reply. So the woman was also quite stern, right? So she said that she would not go out of the bus as long and she would not send a dog. So she said that you can take my name and the address. You must take the dog out, that's my order. So the conductor, he said that he said the lady to go out of the bus, that was his order. I won't go on the top in such weather. So she felt that he was asking her to go out of the bus and sit on the rooftop. Alright. So she said that she would not go out of the bus in cold weather, and neither she's going to sit on top of the roof. It would kill me, said the woman. So the woman said that the weather was very, very cold and she would die. Certainly not, said a lady companion. So she had a friend along with her, and a friend also said that she will not go out of the bus. You've got a cold as it is. So she was suffering from cold, and a friend also said that she should not go out of the bus. It's nonsense, said her male companion. So she had another friend who was a male, who was a man. So he also felt that the conductor was being very rude, and it was a bad opinion to send somebody out of the bus. The conductor pulled the bell and the bus stopped. So he was the one who would order the driver to stop, isn't it? And we've seen that the conductor, he is the one who makes the bus stop. This bus doesn't go until the dog is brought out. So the conductor said that the bus would not move forward until and unless the dog is sent out. And he stepped onto the pavement and waited. So he stepped down from the bus, alright, and he stood on the road and he waited for the lady to come out of the bus. It was his moment of triumphance. He was very, very happy. He thought that he had won the conversation, or he had won the war. So he had the law on his side and a whole bus full of angry people under the handle. So he was very happy because he knew that he would be successful in sending this lady out of the bus. His embedded soul was having a real holiday. So he was very, very happy from inside. I hope children you are understanding. Okay, so the storm inside rose high, shameful. So all the passengers inside the bus, they felt that this conductor was very, very rude, right? And it was very shameful for him to act in this way. He's no better than a dictator. So everyone felt that he was a dictator. A dictator is somebody who rules, isn't it? Somebody who thinks that he is the owner, right? And so everybody felt that he was like a dictator. Why isn't he in the army? So everyone felt that if he was like a dictator, he should be in the army where he can give commands to everybody. Call the police, let's all report him. So all the passengers, they wanted to call the police and they wanted to report against the conductor. Let's make him give us our fares back. So everybody wanted the conductor to return their money. Fares means the money which they had paid while they were traveling. For everybody was on the side of the lady and the dog. So everybody was in favor of the lady and the dog. That little animal sat blinking at the dim lights in happy unconsciousness of the rumpus of which he was the cause. So the dog was unaware of what was happening inside the bus. Right? So he was happily looking at everyone and he was just sitting on the lap of his owner. The conductor came to the door. So again, the conductor, he got inside the bus. What's your number? Said one passenger. So one of the passenger asked for the number. Taking out a pocketbook with a gesture of terrible things. So he wanted to write down the numbers, so he took out a small pocket diary. There's my number, said the conductor imperturbably. So imperturbably means calmly. So he was very, very calm, right? He was not very nervous. So he was very sure of himself, and he said that the number is there in the notebook. Give us our fares back. So everybody asked the conductor to return the fare. You've engaged to carry us, you can't leave us here all night. So some of them said that since you have taken the responsibility for reaching us to our destination, you cannot leave us at this moment at the middle of the night. No fares back, said the conductor. So the conductor, he said that he would not return the money. 2 or 3 passengers got out and disappeared into the night. So 2 or 3 passengers, they got down from the bus and they all disappeared. They went somewhere. The conductor took another turn on the pavement. So the conductor also got down and he went towards the other side. Then went and had a talk with the driver. So he went and had a talk with the driver. Another bus, the last on the road, sailed by indifferent to the shouts of the passengers to stop. So while they were going, right, another bus came and all the passengers inside the bus, they started shouting. They did not stop. They stick by each other, the villains was the comment. So they called the other passengers of the other bus, they said they were the villains. Someone pulled the bell violently. So somebody pulled the bell of the bus and stopped. That brought the driver round to the door. So the other bus also stopped because somebody pulled the bell. Who's conductor of this bus? He sneered. So he said in a very angry way, who's the conductor of that bus? And paused for a reply. So he paused for a reply. None coming from the passengers, he returned to his seat and resumed drumming a rhythm on the steering wheel. So nobody answered, so he went and sat in the driver's seat and he started drumming that wheel. There was no hope in that quarter, so there was no hope of stopping the bus, right? They were all helpless. A policeman strolled up and looked in at the door. So, in the meantime, the policeman came and just took a round around the bus and he looked at the door. An avalanche of indignant protests and appeals burst on him. So, avalanche means what? It means a sudden burst. Everyone was very, very angry and everyone started shouting. Well, he's got his rules, you know, he said genially. So somebody said that this conductor had some certain rules, alright, that he would not allow anyone to enter the bus with an animal. Give your name and address. So everybody, they started asking for name and address to the conductor. That's what he's been offered and he won't take it, said the lady. So the lady said that we've already given a name and address, but the conductor was not trying to take the name and the address. Oh, said the policeman, and he went away, took his stand a few yards down the street where he was joined by 2 more constables. So he was joined in by 2 more policemen. And still the little dog blinked at the lights. The dog was sitting there quietly and he was just blinking at the lights. And the conductor walked to and fro on the pavement. So the conductor was disturbed, so he just started walking up and down. Like a captain on the quarterdeck in the hour of victory. So he was very, very happy. He felt that he had won. Alright, he had become a victorious person. So he just started walking up and down his boat. A young woman, whose voice had risen high above the gale inside, descended on him with an air of threatening and slaughter. There was a woman who started shouting or screaming. He was immovable, so when the lady started shouting, he could not do anything. He was immovable and as cold as the night and as hard as the pavement. So children, I will stop here today till page 14, and I will be sending you the photocopy of this chapter. Alright, and please read it when you get the photocopy of this story.